Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we are at property address 20487 Premier Court here in Aloha. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the home. So we are currently at the back of the house here. I'll show this in just a second here, I'm just gloving up. We've got a 3-inch ABS cleanout that hides under a little valve cover box, kind of a little green circular cover that is immediately outside the rear entrance into the home. Hides under the doormat currently. Good spot for it to be. Anyway, there she blows right there. And there's the back door to the house. So 3-inch ABS cleanout, checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is a-running. We are zeroed out here, and off we go. Usually when they go out the back like this, I hope I don't shoot myself in the foot here, but they usually are very short sewer lines. And this is a good sign already. If the line's doing a nosedive this quickly, this usually means it's diving down to get down to main lateral level very quickly. Otherwise, we would see a more gentle gradation. So right now, we just made a couple turns there, left-hand turns, kind of like we're heading towards the rear left corner of the property currently. Swapping over to 4-inch 3034 PVC, and there's the main right there. Beautiful. Nice short little sewer line. And whoever's living here has taken very good care of this thing. It is like spotless clean. There's hardly any signs of life in here at all. And that's how you want your sewer line to look. And that is made possible, and it stays that way by essentially one living habit. Obviously you want to keep things like paper towels, wipes, flushable wipes, tampons, all that stuff out of your line. The main culprit that gunks your pipes up over time and causes more blockages than anything out there is dumping cooking oil and grease down your pipe. It gunks your lines up like crazy, makes them sticky, and causes everything under the sun to get hung up in there. It's a very good habit to keep up with, keeping a line clean like this, especially when you have little people in the house that are still learning how to fold toilet paper and are wadding it up like a softball. That grease buildup makes a huge difference to whether stuff like that makes its way out, and or when it does block, it generally does so temporarily and breaks loose naturally under water building up behind it, or head pressure is what we call that in the sewer world. So this is a very good example of how to treat your line. We're going to go locate really quick here while the pipe drains out just to verify where the line terminates, and then we'll pull back and take a second look. And I'll also run back to the foundation wall, make sure nothing looks bad there. All right, overall, I think my camera was flipping around as we making our way out there. I think I got myself confused with thinking a horizontal turn, or sorry, a vertical drop was a horizontal turn. The line essentially runs dead straight. If you draw an imaginary line from the cleanout to about 3 feet shy of the rear fence line, that's right where the line terminates. Essentially, it basically runs perfectly straight. So keep your eyes out or peeled through title documents. You will likely have some kind of easement to allow for the main lateral to run through the backyard. The other plus side with having a line like this, you have far less chance for problems to occur. Your line's about 1/3 to 1/4 the length of the average line. It's 10 feet deep at the main. It's way the heck down there. It's deep. And a good portion of the line is just under grass and dirt. You do have a portion of it, though, that's under the concrete patio here. But, relative to fixing the average sewer line, this is a very easy fix if you ever had to do one. You're not having to, I don't foresee that being something that's needed for a very long time, unless an earthquake or something like that happens. But it's a nice thing if it's ever needed. You're not having to go trench up an entire road or something ridiculous like that. So there's another tine right here. My camera's upside down. There's a Y connection that comes in right here. It's at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen right now. Let's see if that's just around. Yeah, it's just around the bend, or behind the bend there before the transition. What that is it's called a test Y connection. It's just like a clean out. Every sewer line has one, and they're always before the transition joint. It's where they put a test bladder in and pressure test the line before they bury it and pass it off with the city. So anyway, the line does a little bit of zigging and zagging. It does actually have a couple horizontal turns there, but by the time it hits the main, it's pretty darn in line with the clean out. It's, maybe 3 feet offset to where the clean out's at. So not a perfectly straight line, but pretty close to it. We're not going backwards into the home here. That's about as far as I can go. We immediately neck down to a sink drain right there. And then you've got a couple mainline branches that split off, but we were able to make it through the foundation wall. Everything from that point forward and beyond is all exposed piping that you can look at with your eyeballs. The home inspector looks at that stuff for leaks. I focus on everything that's underground. So where your clean out is currently at, if you were standing with your back to the house, there's the clean out again, and looking into the backyard, the line is about, you know, and I'm going to get you all confused here, but if you were to go about 3 feet to the side of this clean out and go out there about 3 feet from the fence line, that's essentially right where the line terminates at the main there. And that right there is a beautiful sewer line. Not only is it structurally in good shape, there are a couple spots in there with some rinky-dink, I'm talking crazy minor standing water, like 32nd of an inch. As you notice, I didn't even talk about it until now. It's so minor, it's not even going on my report. I've been doing this 13 years. I've cambered almost 25,000 sewer lines. Even with those minor, and they are crazy minor imperfections, this is still just about a perfect sewer line in my book. And it's made even more so by the fact that the homeowners took very good care of it and did not abuse the line, which is very nice to see that. Anyway, if you're new to homeownership, again, best advice I can give you for your sewer line, obviously keep the improper stuff out of the line that you know you're not supposed to put down there. The paper towels and whatnot. Flushable wipes are another one. Do not use those things if you can help it. If you are going to use them, make them your last wipe and flush them separately from everything else. And don't bowl them up. That helps to get them through the line before they build up on you. Anyway, as far as the cooking process goes, cooking oil, fats in general on your pans. Rule of thumb I tell most people, if you have enough cooking oil or grease on your pans that if you were to turn the pan sideways, this is when the pans are hot or warm anyway, that if the grease and oil runs off the pan in beads, basically flows off the pan, it's at that point you want to do something about it or to mitigate it. Let your pan cool down, wipe them out with a paper towel, scrape it off into a garbage can, pour it into a jar. You just don't want it going down the line. It builds up very, very easily. And there's some things you can do to help it along. You want to always use as hot a water as you can possibly utilize to clean your dishes. Always use dish soap and let your hot water run piping hot for about a minute longer than your last dish was washed. That helps to keep anything that did get down line to keep it melted and emulsified till it gets to the main, or at least a good distance from the house. Otherwise, a thin little coating of PAM spray on your pans is no big deal. Hot water and soap handles that. It's when you're putting real quantity down the line is where it gets you. And, you know, through the interior of your home, hot water and soap does a pretty good job. The hard part is once that pipe hits the exterior where the pipe is buried deep underground and it's cold all the time, that stuff rapidly starts to cool down and harden up. And it starts building up in your line very easily. So that's where you want to keep the hot water running for a bit after you're done washing the dishes to ensure everything gets to where it needs to go. And luckily in this case, your line is crazy short, so it's a lot easier to handle that kind of stuff. So that's my best advice, my PSA for the day on grease buildup. We have great flow end to end here from the the pipe on the interior of the foundation all the way to the main lateral. All the pipe is in great condition and superbly clean. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time.